tuned, and it is tuned, but that's me playing out of tune.
Okay, most people can't tell. Okay, now you can tell.
Maple syrup. Hey, so part of it is also because I'm really close to my desk and I'm like hitting my knuckles on my desk as I
You're
strum.
just out of practice. That's the
I
thing. It's
really
been a
am. This will
few
get better as it
months.
goes along. And so happy Maple Syrup Day. Happy September.
We're
Welcome back to the
back.
Maple Syrup Show. Yeah, we are back and in as they say, full effect. Myself,
I
I
don't
am
think
back.
anyone said that since like the 90s maybe.
Oh, they probably haven't. Me and MC Hammer go way back.
All
I
the way.
I am back at the school. Erica is not for once in her life back at school.
I'm not. Well, I guess this is the second time around.
Yeah, like Erica just recently celebrated her kind of 1 year anniversary-ish, right?
Yeah, so officially was 1 year with Spin in June. It's funny because even they don't remember it's not been that long. Sometimes people are like, "Oh, you've been here for like 2 years." I'm like, "No, it's been like
Nope.
1."
It's 1 year. 1 year. And we're back here in Maple Syrup Land wishing you a happy September. Happy September to you, Amy. Happy September to David Killing. Happy September to Andrew Wolf and Helena Capel and Adam Young. Howdy Meeps. How are you doing? We are actually doing pretty well here. We have a bunch of stuff to talk about today. It may not last the full hour because we're just ramping up,
It's
but
an
we've got
update. Want to
we
kind
got
of tell you
stuff.
guys what we got
We got stuff.
planned and that kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Hello, Sarah Ship. I also do, as I promised, have the Squirtle. Like
Cheese
y'all
water
can't see this, but it is literally sea salt cheese flavored sparkling water.
saved just for you
And
guys
that
to
that
see what
is
this
exactly what that
monstrosity
says
tastes
in Chinese.
like.
Now, I will also have you notice that this is for sale in Asia only. I am not in Asia, though I am Asian, so maybe it's legit. I don't know, but like it's
Do you
like
have an import place nearby?
yeah, that it has like the whole Canadian English label and oh French as
I mean,
well. Look at that.
I absolutely love that Pokemon is on a can. I love that Squirtle is on a can. Why Squirtle is cheese flavored is absolutely beyond me.
Oh my gosh, I love that Andrew's on the feed right now. He's going, is that officially licensed?
Who knows?
Yes. No, you saw
It
something.
probably is.
It
I mean,
is. So
honestly, yeah, like
yeah. So
probably
copyright
is.
1997 Nintendo Creatures Game Freak TV Tokyo Show Pro JR Kakaku. Copyright Pokemon trademarks and copyright a registered trademark of Nintendo for sale in China only. Again, I am not in China.
No,
Uh,
but did you have an import sticker put on top of it?
I
Like
don't
where it actually
know.
translated it? Is that what you said when it was said in English and French?
Oh, let's see here. Yes, imported by the
There you
JLP
go.
Company
If it
Limited.
actually has a slapped on label, this is also like a legal import.
Legal import
So
because of this
because
slapped on label
they have to actually put on the proper
in
language
French
labels if
and
it was
English.
brought in like legally. If it has none of that stuff, guys, who the hell knows? But that's how it works in Canada.
Andrew was like ready to drop a C and D on us. Like, you can't
It's
show
not
that
I. It's not
online.
our
Why not
fault. We
us?
didn't
But
make the product.
so I will try that later before the end of the show. You will see me drink sea salt cheese flavored sparkling
Oh
water.
God, just the sound of it is just absolutely it's atrocious sounding. And
It
that's
is.
what
It
it
is
is.
literally like the worst sounding thing in the world. But we're
Why
back.
Squirtle?
I don't know. And you know what? I bought the Psyduck one, and I drank the Pichu one yesterday. The Pichu one was good. It was um, a lime flavored, and I forgot about this. So,
None of these make any sense,
well, it
by the
doesn't at all.
way.
Although, I
Like,
mean,
why
it
is
was
Pichu
so it was
lime?
uh, um, Merba lime, which is like a bumpy lime from like Southeast Asia, and I forgot that they were called like the K word lime, and so I used the K word, and that K word, don't even look it up, it's not worth it, is actually used as a derogatory term towards Black people. So somebody corrected me yesterday, was very gracious about it, and was like, yeah, let's not call it that anymore.
There's a
In
few things
Malaysia,
where
we
the
call that
translation is
a bumpy
interesting.
lime.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we call it something totally different.
But
But
again, why would Pichu even be that? Like, if you told
oh, I
me it
don't
was
know.
even like lemon, just to be as superficial as possible because he's yellow,
Yellow.
I'd be like, sure.
Well, okay,
But
so
like,
Pikachu
yeah.
is citrus. Like just citrus, not lemon, citrus.
Okay, but then give me like fine. Then Pichu's like 7 Up. It's like lemon lime or
I
something.
guess, I don't know.
Like, come
And
on.
right, and then, the Psyduck one that I got, because y'all know that Psyduck, other than Eevee, it's Eevee and Psyduck are, like, neck and neck for my favorites,
Yep.
but Psyduck is, I believe, like, strawberry for God knows why.
These made no sense. Oh my god. But like Shannon said, Snorlax is grape flavored. Why isn't that Gengar?
Why isn't it Gengar?
Come on.
Andrew Wolf, you have a lot of explaining to do. Why isn't it Gengar?
No,
Um
China, you have a lot of explaining to
Well,
do.
that also. All right, so enough about my Pokemon sparkling water, which I buy a set every year when I find them. It's like because different companies license the Pokemon like almost every year. There's a different company licensing it for some drink of some kind. And so I go to the Chinese market, the Asian market, and I buy like a whole set and I try them all. Because you gotta try them all
You gotta
or
try them
catch them all.
all.
Um, and this year, oddly enough, they have like a whole One Piece set and a whole Dragon Ball set.
Dragon
But
Ball has such a huge resurgence. I know we're on like the weirdest tangent right now, but oh
it's
my
okay.
god, the number of people I saw at like even in airports having Dragon Ball backpacks. Like particularly men, but it was just one of those like really
So
like I was like
it's
this is a full thing, eh?
Dragon Ball is actually like super huge, obviously in anime circles, but definitely
Well, it
also
it definitely took
in
a dip.
certain parts of culture, Dragon Ball is like a big deal, big deal. It's a really fascinating thing that you know. I think because it was on TV, that's possibly why. But there's a lot of parts of very disparate cultures that really focus on Dragon Ball, like really like Dragon Ball quite a bit. Ted Mitchell, that's okay. You're honorary Canadian, especially because you're from Michigan. Okay, so here's the question: because you're from Michigan, which part are you from? If you're a Michigander, you're from which part of the hand are you from? Um, I am from Sault Ste. Marie, so from the Ontario side, but I know so many Michigan people. But it's wonderful that you're here watching. So yes, I will consider you a Canadian by default.
Because
That
Sun
is
has
very
this
cool.
power.
I have that power, or I can ask Dylan to at least grant that power to me, even though it's probably not real. So let's talk about what we did this summer. I know what you did this summer, Erica.
I
Not
didn't
a
kill
lot.
anybody.
Not a
I will
lot.
say that. I know I did
You did
I
more than I
did
did.
I did more than you did. That's true. Because I went to Gen Con and I did actually take my kids to go see Fan Expo as well.
Yeah, which is really cool. Now, gotta put this out there, but Fan Expo has kind of like cut the gaming track.
Oh, gaming's not unless it's video gaming, and even then
Yeah.
it was like live streaming gaming, like esports kind of stuff. Um, yeah, gaming doesn't like board gaming doesn't exist at Fan Expo anymore. Like Fan Expo, might as well be kind of like Comic Con with the comics, right? It's just the fan stuff.
Yeah, which is cool and all. And a lot of people ask me like, "Why didn't you go?" It's because like I don't do
It's
that
almost
stuff.
kinda
I
like
guess I don't know.
why. Like, I to be fair, I went, because I was like, "You know what? It'd be fun to take the kids. They love all of the cosplay."
Hmm.
I even did cosplay for a couple of the days too.
Oh,
The
what'd you
funny
dress
thing
up
is
as? I didn't see it.
so
I didn't get to see it.
so
What
the
did you dress up
first day
as?
when I actually went to just hang out, like, by myself and check out, like, what to take the kids to, I probably should have done the better cosplay that day, but I
Yeah,
didn't.
sure.
So I just was like a fake Steven Universe. Like, I had the T-shirt, I had the
You're
cheeseburger
like
backpack.
budget Steven Universe.
Well, I mean, it didn't go crazy with it because I was like, I didn't have like, blue shorts and
Yeah,
everything
like a
else. And I
hair
wasn't doing
done
like,
up.
yeah, I didn't do hair that day. So it was like I had the t-shirt, I had the backpack, that kind of stuff. I even had my cookie cat with me. And then the
Nice.
second day I took the kids and I did a full Mad Hatter cosplay
Oh, I didn't get
that
to see a picture. Do you have pictures?
I think I have pictures or short videos somewhere.
Okay, well, show me later.
Um,
I love cosplay. I am the worst at it because I'm a perfectionist, so I don't wanna go down that rabbit hole, speaking of Mad Hatters, because I would just I would
well,
I would lose hours
so
and
the
days of my life.
yeah, no, you can get too into the
And
details
money. I'd lose some
sometimes,
money.
right? Like homages are cool sometimes, but
Yeah.
um it was funny because the kids barely made it. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna say it probably almost took me longer to put the cosplay on than the kids actually wanted
Yeah,
to
that's the thing,
stay at
and
Fan Expo.
especially in, like, the heat and all that.
Well, I had the full makeup, full hair, everything,
Oh,
and
wow.
each of the kids went as something else. So, one of the kids was a Pokemon trainer, and the other one, I made
Oh, I did see those
I made a
pictures.
Totoro hoodie a while
Yeah.
back, and Aaron's like, "I'll wear that." And
Oh,
so,
so I think I only saw the pictures with the kids. I don't think I saw or were you in the picture? Maybe, I don't know.
you might have seen Gabriel. I actually took I
Yes.
saw one with Gabriel where he was with a giant Eevee. And then
The
I
best.
got another one where because there was a huge, Studio Ghibli booth this year, which I thought was fascinating
That's
because they
cool.
never had stuff like that before, but
No,
there's a
that's good.
huge Japanese presence. I'm like, "Yay, late '90s again." Anyway, so there was a really, really big Totoro statue, and I actually took a picture of the kids next to
Oh, that's
Totoro
nice.
with
That's very
Aaron
cool.
with the Totoro hoodie down.
Ah, very nice.
So, stuff like that.
So Helena said that, I hear they are working on it, working on a game redoing the game track, I guess, or bringing it back, I don't know. They
That'd be
wanna make gaming a
nice.
thing, but they have not done it well. That is
No, it
true.
never got supported, or it was, like, in the corners where you didn't even know they host things down there, like
But you know what? I mean, we kept on getting people saying, "Oh, we're so glad you're here. We don't, we have, you know, meetings with Doctor Who at this time and Batman at that time and nothing to do in between. And we're so glad you're here to do this stuff."
yeah.
Um, and when we're at SDCC, there's like a gaming thing, there's a pinball thing, there's all sorts of stuff, and it's all over the place, which is fine. But there's always a lot of people there because you get tired of walking the floor and spending money, I guess,
Well,
right?
what's been really interesting is, because there's so many games that are licensed now, I will say it is fascinating to see the number of shops, like little vendor booths that actually have games
Yeah,
because they specialize in
our games from them,
franchises, right?
right?
But that's the interesting part is like actually games are permeating a lot more, but I would say the fastest way it's doing this is all the IP stuff.
Yeah, and they're actually good games now, right?
That's
Which
true
is
too.
really
Well,
fascinating.
again, we're remembering like the pieces of
Yeah,
absolute
the
crap from
games from the
like
'80s where it's like
the 80s and
Pac-Man
early,
and
but it was
whatnot,
just everything that was cardboard, track, garbage. Yeah.
rolling moves and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, so I didn't get my copy yet, but, Erica, you probably have yours
Not
where
yet. So,
oh,
only exhibitors had our badge. So that was one really cool thing about Fan Expo is that the game that Sen and I co-designed, Rat Queens, was the core art of the exhibitor badge.
yeah, so it's really
So
cool.
I am getting exhibitor badges, but the problem is I couldn't take them from anybody because they actually
They
needed
were using
them
them as
to be
exhibitors.
exhibitors. So
So that's
eventually.
Fan Expo. Erica, we were at, Breakout. Oh, yeah, that
Was
happened.
Breakout after we went on hiatus? Yes, it was
Yeah.
July, wasn't it, this year?
Yes, it was
That
very
threw me
weird.
off. Okay.
Because okay, so for those of you who aren't from the Toronto area, Breakout is normally in March break. Hence breakout. And so we were not in March at all. There was no snow on the ground, and it was a good time. I slept in one day. I wrote the wrong time down for my game, but I got there and I got to GM Jiangshi for a group of people who actually know online. Amanda and her partner, and it was great and it was super fun, and then I got to GM a couple rounds of another game that Banana and I made called Exquisite Crime. And I got to do it once for real and then twice because somebody just kind of out of the blue asked for it. It was really cool that somebody said, "Oh, I wanted to play that thing that you made." Oh, well, we can do that. And so we just did it. And that was kind of fun. And then the rest of it, I just moderated other people's panels because that's what I do when I'm this old, apparently.
Well, no, I think I only was panels. I think I was on them or moderating them. That was it too.
Yeah, but I think that's actually I think it's fun to moderate those panels, because a lot of the newer people coming up, they need to have their time in the spotlight too, right? So there you go. So that's really fun. Um, what
Gen
other
Con was the
conventions?
big going back one, like, the
Yeah.
biggest one I think I've been back to at all. Because last year, it was like when we were, like, going Gen Con, I was like, "Oh, absolutely not." I was not dealing with that last year. So went this year. It was interesting because
Mhm.
this year I went as a publisher, kind of, you know what I
Very
mean?
strange. That's different,
And
eh?
or vendor relations might be the better word for it, um,
Right. You
because
took meetings actually.
I
You were on
did.
the other side
I was on the
of the
other
table.
side. I was on the other
So
side of the table.
tell me how that felt.
It's interesting because it's now, especially now that I'm like, I 100% know the product that we're working on in my head. So
Yeah.
when I'm looking at stuff, I'm always slotting it into those brands or
This could
that
be for
age
this
group
could be for
or
that could be for
yes,
this age group, right?
that's all I'm thinking because unfortunately, a lot of things can't just stand on their own. It's really hard for them to do that.
Especially in
They
math, yeah.
right. So there has to be that twist, that show, that gimmick, that flair,
A little
whatever
je
it
ne sais
is.
quoi, right?
Something, right? And so if it's a good game but doesn't have that inherent flair, IPs are usually the answer,
Mhm.
right? But if it has that, like, to begin with, you're like, that's it. That's the thing,
Yeah.
right?
So you probably were, like, kinda slotting things into different buckets and saying, "Oh, that's the bucket,
Oh
that's for the
yeah,
this
like
bucket," right?
this could be Paw Patrol or this could be, Marvel or this could be
Right,
whatever.
right, and so, did you, like, outright reject anybody? Was that hard? Did you have to do any of that?
You know what the weird part is knowing that it's like a game just instantly isn't for you and you don't want to be mean.
Yeah,
But you also don't wanna waste their time, and so it's
or your
funny
time.
because I've sat on the other side of the table and, like, that, but it's interesting when you see it yourself, when it's just like,
Mhm.
there is no way that this would slot in anywhere, and so you wanna be basically, in all honesty, this, like, just doesn't fit our kinda catalog, and sometimes it's like you wonder, is that us, or was that, somebody who maybe didn't do their research as much, or they're just seeing if there was a chance,
Yeah, and
right?
I'm
There's
sure it
always
could
stuff
be
like
any
that
of
too.
those 3 things, right? Just,
Well, that's basically your 3
thought
options.
I'd throw it at the wall and see if it stuck. Some people are like, I don't know what you make, and I just thought I'd pitch." And some people are like, "No, I really thought this was a legit shot."
Yeah, like, I will say it's pretty easy-ish to find people who will pitch party games.
Yeah.
I will say it's a lot harder to find people who make good kid and family games.
Yes. That's a hard market, to understand, I think, especially because you are no longer that market yourself, right? Most inventors are not kids. Though they might have kids and might have family, they don't necessarily see it from that perspective anymore. They may
I
not see how hard or how difficult the game they made is for that.
Well, I think that's it, and we've talked about this before. I think the idea, like, true simplicity is actually very hard for
Yes,
most designers. So
and still
even if
making it
they
an
have
engaging
kids at
game,
home, yeah, I was gonna say,
right?
even if they have kids at home, like, we've talked about this before. It is so much easier to throw another mechanic at something or throw
Oh,
more
yeah.
rules at something
Just
than
add
strip
another
them
layer
all
of something on
away.
it,
And that is now the genuine divide between
right?
mass and hobby.
Now, did you find that, because spin is spin, that it's easier for you to know what you want and don't want? Or was it still a lot of gray area, like, "That could be something," because you have, your own predilections as a gamer, as a hobbyist, right? Or did you say or were you pretty clear, "Not for spin?"
What's interesting is that it depends on, like, because we did our kind of, the second half of our 24 planning, kind of at the end of, I want to say, August. So
Right?
it was just after Gen Con. Funny enough, if that had been before, I would have already known what was slotting in. Because,
Ah,
like, I just found out, for example, like, which new IPs are coming down the chute, or
Right.
like who's got a new show or movie coming out, right?
Right.
And it's one of those like, okay, but now I need someone to make that game.
Right.
So, by the way, I've started reaching out to people about specific things that are coming
Yeah,
down the
if you
pipe,
are specifically interested in, like, I don't know,
especially kids and family.
Paw Patrol, I'm sure there's something somewhere sometime coming out for Paw
No,
Patrol.
I was gonna say it's like you can never have enough stuff to show, like, Disney and whatnot too, but it has to be the right stuff. So, and that's the one thing I find is hard is you find someone who did, one really good family or kids game. It doesn't really necessarily mean they delve into that space
Yeah.
consistently.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. That's interesting. And then, how does Spin communicate their wants to inventors?
So I mean that runs through like Dougal Grimes for the
Mhm.
most part, because what he's going to do is if you're part of our inventor list, which is usually like if you pitched before and showed something that would, generally suit what we're doing, you'll end up on the inventor relations list. And what
Mhm.
happens is that whenever there's a big want coming out, or a big con coming up, you'll get an email or something sent out saying like we're specifically looking for like these categories or this
Right.
brand or things like that. It's a little generic though in some ways because to be honest, we just have a lot of brands. So
Sure.
if you're like, hey, this could work for this, it's like great. But you know what? It's there's like, five other things it could be too, which, yay you if you have a game that can do all that. Hey, if anyone has a platform game, I mean this, like a platform game that works great for families or kids. Do you know how many licenses you could get out of that one game? I mean this. I find it
So, okay, so
fascinating. I know what to place
when you're
here.
saying platform, let's be specific. What do you mean by platform game?
So what a platform game would be is that it is a core game that tends to be fairly simple, like usually like clean is a better way to put it,
Mhm.
because simple doesn't mean no complexity. So strategy can build. It just doesn't have to be apparent at the beginning. Like
Yes.
how to play isn't necessarily like deep or strategic, but the overall game can be over time. But what ends up happening is it's something about the game or the mechanics are simple or clean enough that they can be easily turned into multiple brands, multiple IPs, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So Susie
Susie's
just said like
exactly right,
flex or
yeah.
code names. There's something
Exactly.
so base about the game itself. The core rules are so kind of clean in their own way,
That's a great way of putting it, yeah.
that I could turn that into like if you want to say if let's say it's for 6-year-olds, okay, now it's gonna be Paw Patrol, it's gonna be Gabby's Dollhouse, it's going to be Spider-Man and his Spidey and his friends, it's gonna be um if Marvel wants to push something out, it's gonna be Disney princesses. Like that's just one game.
Mhm.
Right? So just, really think about that when you're going to design for maybe your next year is there's the hobby space is growing. It's beautiful. But we really do focus on like a couple certain titles and everything else is kind of getting lost. When you want to do mass, the difference is like that audience is totally different, but now you have that visibility because your game's on like a Target
Target
shelf or
shelves,
a Walmart
Walmart
shelf
shelf.
or it's highlighted on Amazon, right? And so the numbers are just so significantly different. It does fascinate me that more people aren't playing in the space.
Yeah, and I think some of that has a little bit maybe to do with the hoity-toityness of hobby. Some of it might be the accessibility is, like, reversed in a weird way. Andrew said it's interesting to oops, sorry, I can't see that. Interesting too because I think you think more folks would wanna get signed games in hobby and family because the ceiling for success is that much higher, like, when you think about the number of
Well,
copies that Pie
I'll
Face
be fair,
sold.
it's the difference between let's say 5 and 10,000 units in hobby, which honestly is a really good run in a
Yeah.
lot of hobby games. How would be like a bare drop in the bucket for mass? Like you're talking probably hundreds of thousands of
Orders
units.
of magnitude.
So it is kind of interesting, right? Because I think in a lot of ways mass has never been more accessible. Like you do know somebody who will get you that Hasbro, Mattel, Spin Master, pitch, right? But are you making stuff that will work for that?
Right, exactly. Andrew's saying that he was reflecting today on what his most successful design is. It's the Something Wild platform that Funko has, and, they've
I think
made
they've
so
made,
many
like,
versions
10
of it.
different at least
Yeah.
10 different versions of that
A new
already, and I'm sure
Guardians of
they'll
the
keep going.
Galaxy Holiday Edition was announced today,
Yeah.
right? And so for us, like, it was, well, there's a couple things. So Coded Chronicles and, that's got, like, 5, 6 different things already, and then, the Rock Paper Wizards model is, like, 4 different things. So, yeah, all of these types of platform games where you can just kind of rejig the IP every now and
And
then.
it's not just pure label slapping, like, to be
No.
fair, like, the game at its core already can work with all these things, and so, some of the games that I'm even working on, I already know the 3 titles it's already going to be. Do you know what I mean? Because it's already been kind of worked out which of these
Yep.
brands are putting that out
And
for
those
that age
brands,
group
maybe timing is because of
or
release dates
timing.
for the television show or the movie, or another toy line is coming out or whatever. So they may not all come out at once, but, you have that forethought, like, that we don't see in hobby at all.
Well,
Planning,
or
right?
for example, like maybe we're looking to put a little more representation, like gender equality into
Mhm.
something. And so might intentionally even look at Spidey because like, hey, you now a Spider Gwen. Yay. Like it's not totally dudes all the time. Or, Paw Patrol. It's like, can we put,
Not Totally
sounds
Dudes. That's
silly.
like the name of my next band. Not Totally
I
Dudes.
mean, it does sound silly, but it's like, can we put Sky front and center or things like
Right.
that, right? So
Yeah.
these are honest conversations that also happen too, is like which characters are we using and who's this for? And like, can we kind of have some equality happening here?
Yeah. That's really interesting. So that was kind of the convention roundup. We didn't do much more
Well,
than that.
I
Oh,
was gonna
oh,
say we didn't really get into Gen Con very much,
oh no,
other
because we
than what
got
I was
sidetracked. Yeah, with what you were doing.
what I will say, there was some interesting um changes.
Oh yeah,
And I think big moves in the industry too. So number
mm-hmm.
one, I will say, guys, I think Hachette is someone to watch out for.
100%.
They're they are just absorbing so many different games, but really good game companies too. They have so many people under their umbrella right now. So that was really interesting. Um, the number of celebrities that are now getting into gaming is interesting too.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a chance to meet Matthew Lillard because he even had a booth at
Yeah,
Gen
because he
Con that
loves
he was
Dungeons and
working.
Dragons.
Well, he has part of the sub license from Hasbro, so there is a working reason for it.
Yeah,
But there are a lot of, and there was a lot more crossover happening. So I think there was, more stuff with RPGs that wasn't just like I found like there was more group blending than previous. It felt like,
yeah, like the hybridization is happening, right? That we
yeah,
had
of
predicted a
different
while
gaming
ago.
genres.
Yeah.
Whereas before, I feel like they were almost like separate conventions.
Right.
Um,
And to an extent, there still are, like, little events that,
yeah,
a board gamer might not go to, but then there's also these nice crossover events that are just linked by, like, general nerdiosity, right? And,
yeah.
um
I'm just thinking like, yeah, overall, I mean, all the major guys are kind of there again. I'm extremely interested to start seeing more of the new designers that are going to pop out because I
yeah,
will say the last few cons, what I've really noticed is there is so many new people in the social media side. Over the past 2 years, there's been this big explosion of most of the social media people right now started within the last year to year and a half.
I wonder why.
So what I'm because they're
What am I
exactly
gonna
because
do in
COVID at
lockdown at
home.
home, right?
What will be really interesting, because I don't think everyone's traveling yet, is to genuinely see the new flux of game designers.
Yeah,
And so I haven't quite seen that as much. And we are definitely interested, guys. If you have people that
100%.
you want to highlight, Sen and I really, really want to continue our kind of like up and coming segments where these are the people you didn't know you needed to know,
But you
right?
do.
So, but you do. So, if you guys have any really fun new designers, someone who's got like their first design sign, someone who makes really interesting things, please let us know because we are looking for those people. We want to make sure that other people are seeing them too.
Right.
So that's my
And
little plug
don't
for
be
that.
don't be afraid if that is also you,
Yeah,
right?
maybe you know what? Promote yourself a little bit.
Self-promotion's okay. Um, let's actually go to that just to talk about our upcoming guests, because
Right,
that's kinda
because
what
we're
today is
looking
all
for
about.
things to put in.
Yeah, so I'm gonna post something a little bit later. Well, I'll show it on screen later. But we have like our first 4 shows kind of lined up. So September 21st, we have Matt Leacock coming, not up and coming, kind of established guy. But we're talking about something new and interesting. Matt is having a Kickstarter with Control, the publisher, and CMYK, so not Control, CMYK, the publisher, and his co-designer Mateo, and that will be launching at the end of September. And it's for Daybreak, which is all about like ecology and green design and all that kind of stuff. And that's what we're going to talk about that day. On September 28th, we have Jake Cormier, my other partner in crime, coming to talk about Harrow County, which is launching a Kickstarter that week as well.
I'm
To
excited to
talk
talk
about,
about some of the innovations that you
yeah,
already like he's there's some really clever things about even just the production of this game. And so
hmm
I think it's going to be really interesting to talk about um, when you do something new, kind of like what are those challenges and pitfalls, right?
hmm
Because it's not like you're copying something else, you're trying to do it potentially for the first time. So it's like,
yeah.
okay, how did that go? Like,
We don't know yet. And Jay will be talking about adapting the comic book series, self-publishing, innovation, all sorts of cool stuff. So that'll be great. October 5th, we have Heather O'Neill coming to talk about a project. She's from Ninth Level Games, which is a role-playing game company, to talk about Venture Village. I actually don't know if it's called Venture Village anymore, but that was the original name. I'm writing a part of it, and it's actually a role-playing game that's to try to help younger role players or younger people, anybody really, learn about social and emotional learning and through games and the power of games. So it's a therapeutic game written by a bunch of therapists, and yeah, it's really cool that we're actually going to make products specifically for teachers and therapists and parents to play with their kids, students, patients, clients, whatever you want to call them, to help grow that emotional learning part.
oh, Amy
So that'll
says
be
it's
really
already
cool.
on Kickstarter.
Yeah. It just launched like yesterday, I think, or the day before. So it's awesome that it's starting out there, and that'll be really really cool to get Heather in to talk before the end of the campaign. October 12th, we have just Erica and myself, and maybe Alara, if Alara joins us, to do a host panel. We have no idea what we're talking
Yeah,
about. So
so
if you
that's
have
another thing
suggestions,
we're open to, guys, is that we still want to have times where, we're obviously interviewing people, but then sometimes it's nice to share our own knowledge as well. So when we have these, panel discussions, we want to be able to deep dive some sort of topic that is interesting to you. Because most of the time when we have people on, they're experts in something or they're telling you about their journey and how they, their process. So when we deep dive something, we want to make sure that it's meaningful to you.
right. And so those host panels could be like AMAs, they could be anything. Erica and I, we've been talking lately about doing some funny things just to kind of shift up the show. So, as you might know, we are also the co hosts of Ludology, which is a big deal for us to do the podcast. And we thought, and we used to strip the audio from the Maple Syrup Show and make it into a podcast. But we were thinking, why don't we use the Maple Syrup Show as like what its strengths are, which is visual, like video. You see us, right? And the guests that we get on Maple Syrup would be more people that needed the video part to show things. And Ludology could be more of the talking part of it all, where we didn't have to necessarily show stuff. We could describe it, but we really use this venue to show stuff. The other thing we kind of wanted to do is maybe some more, not bits, because it's not comedy, but more
Segments.
segments,
That's
right?
about, yeah, segments.
So Nicole doesn't know this, but on Friday I have a meeting with Nicole Amato, who is working with Kickstarter as community outreach. And I'm gonna ask her, can you come on like every week or maybe once every month or twice a month or whatever, just to kind of give us like a rundown of what's
It's like a
happening on
roundup.
Kickstarter?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a roundup, right? And those are the types of segments that we'd love to see on the show. Um, we've also been listening to a lot of other podcasts as we start driving to work and things like that. Like me, it's like, oh, I guess I gotta find some new podcasts. And one of the ones that we were listening to had like radio show style call-ins where people would call in, leave a message on a voicemail system, and then they'd answer it, in a podcast. We could do that here. We could answer your questions if we could store them, and it'd be nice to have your voice. So we were looking for a voicemail system, but they seem to be only available in the States. Um, but what if we ran a Discord where you could like put your questions there and we'd
Or
answer
drop an
them on
MP3
here?
file.
We drop an MP3 file there, right? It would work better on Discord than it would on Facebook because Facebook doesn't thread the way that Discord does. Discord isn't perfect either, but I think we could make it happen. So there's a bunch of segmenty type things that we'd love to do. We'd love to use more visuals on the video show so that we can because I can call up videos, I can call up pictures. The software is quite good at that. We just don't use it because we haven't really been prepared as well. And so we'd like to do that more. And hey, hi Jesse, and by the way, hi also to Kate who came in all the way from Australia, and hello to Jim Baker and Susie Dancer and Deadpan as well. No, not only Kickstarter. I'm just it's like Kleenex, Andrew. Come on.
She we use the brand names.
Yeah. So yes, because Nicole is
She'll
the
work
liaison for
specifically
that.
for
Yes,
Kickstarter.
maybe. But, if there's a game found person that's in that same role, we'd love to have them on too.
Yeah,
Because you're right, a lot of the wider crowdfunding is very interesting. There is another crowdfunder that we were trying to get to talk before September, before the summer, but we just couldn't make it happen because of time zones. And so we're still in conversations of having them come on. They are a smaller crowdfunder from France. There's lots of actually really interesting crowdfunding platforms out there that are very local. So like
they're
in
specific
parts
to
of Asia,
countries. Yeah.
in Belgium only, or in Germany only, right? And they're used a lot of times by the localizers to gain the funds to then approach or they already have the relationship with the publisher, but then to basically buy the copies and localize them, right? So that's very interesting. Yeah. There are services for taking voice messages for podcasts, says Kate. And I think it'd be super fun because I'd love to hear, especially like Kate's Australian accent would be great to have live on or recording anyways. I think it'd be
I
super
mean,
fun.
heck, we could even have people videotape themselves. It's just what we
Yeah,
want
I
is
mean,
to have you
really,
guys interacting with
I could
the
also just, welcome Kate onto the show like right now and say, hey, Kate, come on. And she could come on. And she's done that before.
Well, actually, that brings up a point. We can now invite more people on than we could
Yes.
before.
Yes. We used to only limit ourselves to one guest because there used to be 3 hosts. So we could only handle 4
That's
people
max it would do.
max. Now we're up to 8 or maybe even 10, but I think it's at least 8. And Alara isn't around as much because she has other responsibilities and duties with family that she never thought she'd have. So now she does, and it's wonderful and great. But her time with us is fairly limited. So we may look for another co-host.
Maybe it's a big round table, even like
Or maybe we'll
segments. We
have like
have
a lot of
options
people.
now.
We have options, we have the technology, and this is just over the last year that because obviously streaming has become such a thing. Be Live is making a lot of changes because of competitors like StreamYard. So there's a lot of cool stuff happening that we can do, and we can
You
still
know, it'd be
keep the same
really fun.
software. What's that?
We invite people to come play like board game arena games with us because you can
We could
actually
do that.
show. We can show the game and have people come in.
Yeah. And we can do that live. It's similar to Twitch, but not exactly Twitch. So there's a lot of other stuff we can do.
Twitch is problematic. We can do what we want here.
We can, yeah, we do need an old Much Music Speakers Corner booth, Daniel
I'm
Rocky.
so sad
Now,
that doesn't exist anymore, but I also
yeah,
understand like a lot of people just like peed in it. So
but without that, where would Bare Naked Ladies be?
I miss those segments though. So anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, at the corner of so we have Much Music, which is like the Canadian MTV, and at the corner of the building that it's in, there used to be this little vestibule that you could like get in, and essentially it was a bench and a video camera. And you could basically go in, say whatever you want, and they would cut the ones that they want to put on TV. Obviously, there's a lot of problematic things
Yeah,
that
especially
would
in
be
downtown Toronto.
it
But
would be recorded. I'm pretty sure there was a lot of naked people, but it was fun because they would have, ran any people who were in the building who happened to be leaving, they would jump in this booth, record something. And so you'd have these like almost like video segments as if somebody jumped into a photo booth.
Yeah, and they'd be like people who are on the verge of fame, famous people, totally non-famous people, just giving their opinions on, politics in the city of Toronto and what else. And it was a big part of like the 90s, really. It was pretty fun. Um, Andrew says, yeah, that's what our friends at the Full 42 have been doing. They use StreamYard to have like game playing and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of ideas that we have. Um, but yeah, let's sorry, I'm just laughing at Susie. Susie Dancer said that she recorded something a couple times for the record. She was not nude, nor was she famous. Okay.
There you go.
uh, there's a professor in my program who we do three truths and a lie to introduce ourselves to the students. And one of her things that she has is killed a raccoon while nude. And that's actually true. It actually happened. She was in her hot tub and a raccoon attacked her.
Oh
And so she had to
no.
kill it with a hockey stick. That's
Holy
so Canadian.
crap.
That's so Canadian. Super
I'm having
Canadian.
problems with raccoons right now
Oh
too.
no. Well, that's a Toronto thing for sure. Um,
Why do they have thumbs, guys? Why do they have thumbs? Okay.
because they're awesome.
Ah.
Is Vox Pop an Australian thing? That sounds Australian. That sounds pretty Australian to me. And Adam Young is saying, some friends made me join them for a quartet singing a song I did not know on the speaker's corner. That's awesome.
It's like there's a few very like Canadian things if you ever see it. Like I would think the other one's like anyone who's ever seen Cash Cab, anyone who's ever seen Speaker's Corner, anyone who's seen any of these random ones where it's
Mm.
like
Yes, raccoons, Ted, are weird. You're correct.
so weird.
Oh yeah.
And
There
they're
was that
aggressive. Sorry.
that viral post about the raccoon that was killed on the sidewalk, right? I remember that. So there's a couple things that we're thinking about for the future of the show other than just the regular guests that we have. We'd like to have, maybe a little more like segment stuff, and we used to do some. They kind of always fall by the wayside because they take a little bit of preparing, but if they're fun and interesting, we'll do that. We will do that. So give us something to talk about. Like, what topics do you want to hear? What is a segment that you might like to see every now and then or every show? um, we don't want to turn it into like a variety show or that kind of thing. We're still going to talk with our guest for a 40-minute talk or a 50-minute talk. But if there were like other people jumping in for like a 10-minute segment, or we were doing a 10-minute segment on something else, what would that be? It's even as a podcast listener, one of my favorites is The Illusionist. And she'll just read a word, like a single word from the dictionary randomly and define it and ask you to use it in an email that day, right? And that's the kind of stuff like we could grab Jeff Engelstein and Isaac Shalev's book on game mechanics and talk about one mechanic a day. There's like a bunch in there, right? So that kind of stuff. Is there segments that you think would be really cool? Let us know. If you have any ideas, we would love to hear them.
Yeah, or
Um,
message us later if you think of anything that doesn't have to be right
mhm.
now. But the nice thing is because, the way that the Maple Syrup Show is, we can always kind of adjust and try to incorporate, what everyone's interested in.
I just got a message on Facebook that somebody says if you want a new designer, maybe I can come on. It's like, yeah,
This is what we
let's do
need,
that.
right?
Yeah,
And yeah, guys, you know what? Promote yourselves too, because I
that's
find
great.
not enough people do, or occasionally it's like the wrong people do.
Right. And we are like super committed to raising the voices of people who don't often get heard. So 100%, if that is you, if you do
Yeah.
not have a platform, we can help you out with that. We'd love to have you here. Other things. So, Erica, what do you got going on game wise? What are you building?
I'm trying to think what's coming out next because I think there's a couple of things that should be hitting shelves soon. I believe I have a Little Mermaids charm game coming soon,
Yeah, that's
as
awesome.
well as yeah, it's a nice way. It's like a little set collection game for if you're like 5. It's Candyland with
Which I am
charms,
not, but I
basically.
will still play it.
But you know what? You can make a beautiful bracelet, and so what? Who
And
doesn't love a
who
beautiful
wouldn't want to do
bracelet?
that? Yes, right?
Yeah. I have a really funny one coming that is based off of a children's book series. Depending where you live, it's either called "I Need a New Bum" or "I Need a New Butt." And it is literally a boy who thinks his butt is broken and imagines all of
Butt
these
is
new
broken.
butts.
What if I had
So,
a butt that was
I
musical?
mean, you didn't know you needed a butt popper in your life, but you do. And so
Oh,
this
like
game
a
has, yep,
that's
this
shaped
game
like a
has an
butt.
actual butt popper in it that has dice in it. And it's basically a memory match style game where you're
That is
matching
so
butt
awesome.
cheeks.
Oh, that makes so much sense now. Because you can't have uneven butt cheeks, people. It makes it very hard to
You
sit.
gotta create the set. And so you have a few different butts that you're building. That's the game. I mean it. Like legit, it's a butt game. So, Sen and I have, Rat Queens is getting closer. I think the next update is gonna talk about the full schedule because the game's, I think, scheduled for retail towards the end of the year or early into the next year, but we're
Mhm.
getting close, so that's awesome.
Yeah. Let's see what's coming out from me. We just handed off files to Japanime Games or something, which is great. Jay and I are currently deep into writing the next Coded Chronicles, which is cool. When you find out what it is, you'll be going, "Oh, that makes sense." Um, what else are we doing? Alara and I are putting together the tabletop version or the online version for a game that is the next game from Off the Page Game. So not Harrow County, but the next one, which we can't talk about yet. Um, oh, speaking of which, I'll be at Universal this weekend. I'm not sure if anybody else will be at Universal, but I will be at Universal demoing my management. Only on the Sunday. I can't stay till the Monday because I got this other thing that's actually like real work. I don't know. And I'm just going to be there. To show off my management. Um, Shucks, that is, I will be at Shucks this year. Yeah, that is the one I'm going to that Erica is not going to.
I can't because just the timing. So I go to Essen like right after
It is right after that,
Chucks's.
and yeah, I can't go to Essen. That's a much bigger trip than the college would allow me at this time of the year.
It's my first
So
Essen. I've never been before.
yeah, me either. It's always right in the middle of midterms, so I never go. But I'll be at Shucks, so I will see you there if you're
I
there.
I do want to go to Shucks one day though. I actually really wanted to go to Shucks. It just didn't line up.
It's really nice. It is. It's really fun because it's kind of chill. I just like it because I just play games. This year, Off the Page Games will have a booth, so I will be demoing Harrow County. I will be because Harrow County will be launching right after that. I will be demoing my management, and I think I'm going to be doing a couple panels with like Tim Eisner and who else? A couple other people. Um, Jonathan Ying probably. Who else? Emma.
People.
Emma. Yeah. So lots of people. That'll be fun. Yes. Oh, um, yeah. It definitely Shucks is a great one. Susie, yes, we did meet then, and we'll see you then too. It'd be great. Um, that's a great question. Ted said, "I'm a teacher. I wouldn't mind hearing tips for high school game club sponsors. Very cool, or high school game design club, or anything like that. That'd be really fun. Yeah, let's do that." Oh, thanks for the lending library games from Amy from Pink Tiger Games. That's right. So a lot of times you publishers out there, if you're watching, those cons have lending libraries and those games
It's a
get lent
great way
out
to
to
get your
lots and
game
lots of people.
played.
Yeah,
Yep.
because the number one way to sell your game is to have it taught to a person, right? Play to win really works quite well.
Play to wins can be really good. They just have to be managed properly, but as long as the organizers, play to win can be a great system.
Yeah. Hey, it's my favorite druid, Rebecca. Yes, to school and library game clubs. You can see her in her little picture there, dressed like a druid, which is super cool. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff there. Other games on the go. Banana Chan and I have a couple more things coming out. We're working on putting the final touches on 2 games. One of them with Van Ryder Games, which is cool because we get to work with Julie, which is so awesome. Julie Ahern, if you don't know her, she used to be with Greenbrier Games and she has moved over to Van Ryder Games. And so it's wonderful that we just got caught right at the right time to work with her. She's super awesome. And then the other game is out through Evil Hat, and we'll hopefully be able to talk about them sooner, which would be great. We have another Kickstarter or something, I don't know yet, coming up with Exalted Funeral for a game called One Night Only, which is a role-playing game about being a teenage punk rock band and coming back 20 years later or 10 years later after at your 10-year high school reunion and stuff like that. So super fun, super fun. That
I mean, that was
might
a
be it.
lot. So
That's a
I
lot.
mean,
I do have to admit, summer was not great for me health wise and all sorts of stuff. So I'm a lot behind. I will get caught up. I promise all of you, I will get caught up on my things. This is a little accountability feed that I need to get stuff done, and I'm setting my timelines, and I'm getting my button gear, and actually being back at work and school is good. When I do nothing, I
it's
do
good
absolutely
regulated.
nothing, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's when you get
When I
regulated
have a
time.
schedule, it feels better. I like know that, oh, I have an hour, then I'll do something. Sometimes when I have a full like 8 hours of nothing, it's like nothing gets done. It's not the healthiest way to do things, but it's how I do things sometimes.
You gotta learn yourself. You gotta learn
Speaking of
yourself.
unhealthy, I think it's time
Oh,
for this
it's my
bad
time
boy.
for the cheese water.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
here we
yeah.
go.
So, this is my Squirtle. He looks so happy. I'm not sure why he's happy. The
Because
reason
he's
why I
never drank
question his
cheese water.
happiness, yeah, is because his flavor is sea salt cheese flavored sparkling water. You heard that right, folks.
I
Sea
can't wait for
salt
you to
cheese
describe
flavored.
what type of cheese this water
I don't know.
is.
It's whatever this picture is. It looks Swiss.
That looks like oh god, this is gonna be so bad.
I don't know. I don't know, man. Um, Yeah, I am feeling better, Andrew. Thank you much. Thank you so much for that. There are a lot of problems with my health. I'll talk to you about it some other day. It's not anything huge, but it's just like getting old. Like I'm 50 this year, so I'm breaking down. I'm breaking down, people. All right, so I just popped the tab. It's a neat tab.
Oh,
It,
it's
it
the
remind,
old-fashioned
yeah,
tabs.
like it totally reminds me
They
of
don't
like
make those
a
almost.
V8 can.
Yeah, they really
Right.
don't make those very often anymore, do they?
Right. Okay. So I can't smell that well, and now I couldn't smell well before
Oh my
COVID,
god. I don't even know
so
what
it's
cheese
not
water
COVID.
smells like.
Cheese water, that's like a new insult. All right there, cheese water. Um, so we'll see what's up. Okay, I'm gonna shake it around a little, and it's effervescent because it's bubbly water.
Okay.
It does not smell like cheese. It smells like caramel or caramel,
Interesting.
depending on what part of the world you're from. All
I
right.
I mean, maybe there's caramel flavored cheese.
I mean, maybe. Yeah, people on Twitch make money doing stuff like this. I'm doing this for free, y'all. This is like for
Doing
you.
this
This
for
is
you.
sacrificing my body for you. Yeah, Susie, Andrew, you guys are right behind me. I'll tell you what it's like to turn 50 and have your body fall
Yeah.
apart.
Eric just
Anyway,
turned 50
here
too.
we
Go
go.
ahead.
Oh my gosh.
Did the
It doesn't
cheese hit
taste
on
like
the end?
cheese. It doesn't taste, yeah, it does not taste like cheese at the beginning. It's like, this is sweet. And all of a sudden, there's this cheese aftertaste.
Sweet
Like
cheese.
sweet cheese aftertaste. It's like, this is
What
not what I expected
what
nor
type of
wanted.
what type of cheese?
Okay, so when you're asking an Asian person what type of cheese, you're probably asking the wrong person in general. We just don't eat cheese a lot. Did I ever tell you the story about my mom? My mom said to me one day, she goes, and this is how she talked, Senfo, who taught you how to eat cheese?
You're like, "You?"
No, my mom doesn't eat cheese.
Okay.
There's not a lot of cheese in Asia, let me tell you. So that is weird. This is weird and wild stuff. It's not actually
So,
horrible bad. Like,
what
it's not
type of
like
sweet? Is it like fruit sweet or like just sugar sweet? Like what kind of sweet?
no, almost like that caramelly sweet that I first kind of scented from the smell. But it does have that slightly cheesy aftertaste.
You know what it
But
sounds
it's
like you're
sweet.
describing? Hey, I think it's
Ooh.
called the Chicago mix. You know when you get popcorn where half of it is
Ah,
cheese and half of
maybe.
it is caramel, and people like to eat
Maybe.
them together? It almost
'Cause they're
sounds like you have the
weird.
You had the drink version of that.
You might be right. This might be Chicago mix, the seltzer
The
water
drink.
version. I gotta ask Gil about that. Gil loves seltzer.
Cheese water.
Cheese water. Oh, isn't there like an album that's called Hot Dog Water and the Purple Starfish or something? I think that's an album
Uh,
from like some band.
this it's Chicago mixed
Sea
cheese
salt,
water.
cheese flavored sparkling water. And I mean, here are the ingredients. Let's read the ingredients. It's like um, water, fructose
Uh-huh.
syrup, carbon dioxide, citric acid, sodium citrate, potassium sorbate, and food flavor.
Okay, everything you just said is in every other carbonated drink
I know.
ever.
So, like, who knows?
Uh,
Wow,
so I think the
that's
general
remarkable.
consensus is without testing it that you just drank Chicago mixed popcorn minus the popcorn in drink form.
I really think you're right. I really think you're No, 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 Susie, it's not like a Cheetos type cheese flavor. It is like,
Like a weird like cheddar or like
like a weird kind of processed cheese flavor.
okay.
Like, it tastes like processed
You're
cheese.
like there was powder involved here at some point. I could taste the powder.
No, 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 but not the powdery kind of
No,
processed
I
cheese.
don't mean like I
More
don't
like
mean like
a Velveeta smooth
yeah, I
like,
was gonna say not the
chunk of
neon
cheese.
cheese, not like yours like
No,
KD cheese. I mean like
no. Like, I like that
more like craft
flavor.
singles maybe.
Yeah, because it's not really that salty. It is more like Kraft Singles, but sweet.
Oh.
Like sweet Kraft Singles. Sweet, sweet Kraft Singles. Um, I mean, just so you
Oh.
know, Andrew, I do have an awful you watch my chip stuff. I do have an awful lot of strange Asian foods. Because even I think it's weird, and I'm
I mean, some
Asian.
of them are fun. I love when they do the chip flavors every year, but I
Ugh,
mean, I'm sorry, but who wants cheese water?
so weird, so weird.
Nobody asked for this.
No,
What were you thinking,
cheese water.
Pokemon?
I don't know. I
Chinese
don't know.
Pokemon. What were you thinking?
No, it's not mozzarella either, Adam. It is not mozzarella either. But yeah, so maybe weird food is a segment. I don't know what board game related that
String
is,
cheese
but
caramel. We're going with string cheese
yeah,
caramel.
string
Is what
cheese
this
caramel.
tastes like.
That's as close as it
That's
gets.
my
And I mean,
guess.
I'll think about it a little more.
Yeah.
If I don't die, I'll come back and tell you next week. How's that?
Uh, I
Yeah.
just don't drink anymore.
So why not grapefruit or Brussels sprouts, Adam Young?
I
It's an
don't know.
interesting like no go for you. They
I
have it
mean,
pretty much mosh
I
drink at Walmart.
feel like I would try something called peanut butter punch, but also seriously regret that I tried something called peanut butter punch.
Right. A weird food wheel of fortune.
I mean, we could. Both of us have
That
access to
that
pretty
l
wacky foods.
that literally sounds like something that Bruce Vogue would do.
It's easy to do digital spinners too. We can talk about that
Alright,
another
alright.
time.
Alright, maybe a digital spinner, maybe we'll figure out how to get that onto our channel, a digital spinner. I know we have
We'll
lots of weird widgets. What do we got here? We got some widgets. We can do, follow us widget.
just
Oh,
put
look at
something over
that.
Sun's
We
face.
we can have a snowfall widget.
I mean, I
Ooh.
always wanted to be in the snow.
We have sticky notes that we can stick all over the place. We have number of days in quarantine. Oh my god.
It's
And there's a thermometer. I don't know why we'd
all
have that, but oh, there
COVID
it is.
stuff.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe what the temperature is. But there are some widgets, but there's no spinning wheel widget. We'll have to make
Now
one.
we can make one, I think.
Yeah. Okay, we'll do that. Um, but yeah, so that's kind of it for today. We are coming up on our hour. Thank you so much, everybody who stuck it out with us to see me drink the sea salt
Whatever the
cheese
heck that was.
water. And I'll go
String
back and get
cheese
some of the other ones just
caramel.
so we can look at them and marvel in the flavors. I actually admit that I did not check out what the flavors were for Dragon Ball or One Piece, but I
Ocean.
will go buy them.
Maybe they got the good flavors.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe they're
Pokemon got the rejects.
well, I mean, I don't think they're either bigger brands than Pokemon, so I don't
To
know
be
why
fair, it's
Pokemon
probably all the same stuff.
probably is.
Yeah.
Probably is. I will go find those and we'll do that. We need to have an address where we can send weird food and drink stuff. Well, I mean, it's just like down the street is where I go to get all my weird food and drink stuff. But if you're thinking you could send me stuff, that would actually be cool. I would
It'd be fun from
actually,
other countries.
yeah, that's what I'm really actually interested in. Is what do you guys eat in this other country? That's super fascinating. Um, I am going to be making kue in 2 weeks, which is the dessert of my people. Not Chinese, it's Malaysian. Well, it's Chinese Malaysian desserts. Because Chinese desserts are not that great, to be completely utterly honest.
I'll
They're,
be
they're not.
fair. It's questionable whether or not you can call most of them a dessert.
Yeah, red bean
Like,
soup, not a dessert.
I feel like there's an appropriate amount of sugar that has to be present in something to actually be a dessert. And I'm really sorry, but I don't know if certain things qualify.
No, but kue totally does. It's like coconut milk, pandan leaf, infused layers of tapioca, and you layer them, and they're beautiful, and they're like stunning. And so I was actually thinking about it the other day. It's like because I was looking at a piece of soap, and
I
I was like,
saw your Twitter
and
post
I
or
wanted
whatever it
to eat
was
it. Every time I see a piece of translucent soap,
of like
I
decorative
want
soap.
to eat it. And I didn't know why until I was looking through, like, Malaysian desserts. I said, "That is why, because they all look like soap, and that's, like, the food of my childhood. Like, my dessert as a child was eating this." And
That's why
that
little
is
kids eat
probably
soap,
why,
guys. It's true. Decorative soap. That's why little kids eat it. It looks like
because it
candy.
looks good. It looks like candy. It looks like a
Yeah.
Jolly Rancher, right? And in my case, it looks like
You
quail.
know what? The moral of the story is though, don't eat soap.
Yeah, it's not good for you. It also does not taste like it smells or looks.
I would
It looks
no.
delicious. It smells awesome. It does not taste that way.
It's like herbal tea, but we won't get into that.
Oh my gosh. All right, so I will
Uh,
go back to the store and buy some Dragon Ball and some One Piece punches or drinks or whatever. They also have a whole bunch of milk teas, and I do like milk tea, and different flavors of that. So I'll get some stuff. I'll get some stuff. We'll make this into a segment,
That's a good thing.
because this body, my friends, is a temple, as you well know. But I am willing to pollute it for your entertainment value.
I was
That's.
gonna say, I'm sure I have enough places near me. I could probably go get this
Oh
crap
yeah,
done.
you have just as many places near you, if not more, that would have exactly the same stuff or weirder,
Mm, I
right?
agree.
Yeah, cool. Um, oh, what's that, Amy? I just ate a protein cookie with some extra chocolate chips out of a coconut whip container that was almost empty. That's a lot of things going on there, Amy. Lots of things going on.
But was it
Um,
cheese flavor? Cheese flavor pop caramel.
Probably not. Probably not. Yeah, avoid the fizzy cheese water. Fizzy cheese
So if
water is
you've
great
learned
too.
anything from tonight, guys, number one, don't eat soap. Number two, don't drink fizzy cheese water.
That's so funny. And you know what? I am gonna finish this. I
Oh
will
God.
finish this because Mama Lim never let me not finish anything. So this is getting finished.
Enjoy
Good.
your cheese water.
Yeah. All right, everybody. We will see you next week with our guest Matt Leacock, the one and only designer of Pandemic
Environmentalism.
Legacy, and we're
Yeah.
going to be looking at Daybreak, which is his newest design with CMYK Games, and his co-designer Matteo, who is British, I believe, in the UK. So he will not be here because the timing's not right. But I believe that the publisher might come, and Matt definitely is coming. And we're going to talk about ecological design and all that kind of stuff. So we'll just actually just show this right now. There we go. We have Matt Leacock. Then we have Jay Cormier coming to talk about Harrow County and adapting it and all the wild stuff he does there at Off the Page Games. On October 5th, we have Heather O'Neill coming to talk about Venture Village and how to teach social emotional learning through role playing games. So, all y'all out there who are teachers at high school or grade school, middle school, librarians, this is for you. Daniel Rocky, Rebecca Strang, come check out Venture Village. You might think it's pretty cool. It's for teachers, therapists, parents. Then we're doing a host panel on October 12th. We don't have a topic, so please suggest one on the Maple Syrup Shop Talk page. I'll send the link in a second. And then, oh, I forgot to talk about on October 19th, we have John DeCampos coming. John DeCampos is an amazing illustrator. He's a musician who plays in Cowabunga Pizza Time, which is a punk rock, heavy metal type I don't know, tribute band to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles
I
and
was gonna say there
Rocksteady and
has to be
Bebop.
a Teenage Mutant Ninja
It's
Turtle reference
awesome.
in there somewhere.
It is awesome. And he has a new game coming out called Black Mold. He made Token Terrors. And Black Mold is this really cool, like art piece plus game. It's he's amazing. He does great work. And yeah, if you have any other suggestions for future guests or topics or food for Sen to eat and Erica to try, give us a shout. We'll see you soon. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming on. It's been great to see you. And yeah, that is it for us. We'll talk to you in a week. Let's just give you our details. You can reach me on Twitter at SenFengLim. Erica, where do you?
At Erica Booyers.
Alara is at TT Void. You can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/maple syrup. Help keep the lights on. We are putting that money to good use as we get out there into the world. What we're looking for, this is something we are looking for, is talking to conventions to try to get access to those conventions for young up and coming designers.
Yeah, we want
Uh,
designers at conventions actually getting to show their games.
Yes, that is exactly what we want. So if you know anybody who runs a convention that has a prototype alley or something like that, let us know. We'll get in touch with them. We'll see if we can get some like 1 or 2 passes that we can give to the designers for free.
Yeah.
What else is there? Oh, go to our Facebook page, Maple Syrup Shop Talk. Leave all your questions, concerns, things you want me to eat there. That'd be great. Other than that, I think that's it.
Mhm.
So goodbye, everybody. We'll see you later. Adam, Amy, Jesse. Hey, how you doing? Rebecca, Susie, Ted, Andrew, Kate. Who else is there? Helena. I know that Daniel Rocky said something to me. I know Catherine is watching. There's lots of people. Kate Finch, everybody out there. Ted Mitchell. You guys are awesome, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, next
Thanks so
time.
much.